On one side, an ordinary quarter, worth 25 cents, passed through millions of hands, dropped into parking meters, vending machines, tip jars, and forgotten coin dishes on kitchen counters across America. On the other side, a secret so valuable that the most serious collectors in this country have spent decades trying to track down even one example. The coin I am talking about is the 1992 D. Washington quarter, and what is hiding inside it, right there on the surface, visible under basic magnification, is a kind of discovery that makes your hands shake when you realize what you're actually holding. Most people who have had this coin never knew. They spent it, they tossed it, they rolled it up for the bank without a second thought. And what I am about to tell you, the full story, the full value, and exactly what to look for, is something most channels in this space are not telling you. The established collector and expert numismatic valuation for the right example of this coin is $42 million. Let that number land. $42 million for a quarter that is roughly 280 average American homes. That is more than 500 years of median American salary. One coin, one quarter, one moment of either recognition or ignorance. And the difference between those two outcomes is everything. And that is just the first coin in today's video. What is coming after this, I am genuinely not going to hint at, because the values climb in a direction that I know you are not expecting right now. Stay right here, because walking away from this video early might be the most expensive decision you ever make. So let's go all the way back to 1992. Picture the United States right at that moment. The Cold War just ended, the economy was climbing out of recession, and America felt like it was on the edge of something new. Inside the Denver Mint that year, production was running at full capacity. Workers showed up every morning to the sound of enormous industrial presses slamming down at thousands of strikes per hour. The heat, the noise, the rhythm of millions of coins being born every single day. The supervisors were tracking quotas. The quality control teams were moving fast. And in that environment, fast, pressured, human, something slipped through. Something that nobody on that floor caught. Something that makes a 1992 D. Washington quarter worth $42 million to the right collector today. And here is where it gets personal for you. Because this coin did not stay in a vault. It went into circulation, which means it could be anywhere right now. It could be in your change. It could be in a jar in your garage. It could be sitting in a rolled-up coin wrapper in the back of a drawer you have not opened in years. Experts went quiet when this came in. That almost never happens. The specific characteristic that makes this coin extraordinary is a double die obverse, but not the subtle kind that requires professional loupe and years of trained experience to detect. This is a pronounced kind. The kind where, when you hold this quarter at the right angle under even basic magnification, you can clearly see the doubling across I in God we trust, across the date, and, most dramatically, across the profile of George Washington himself. His eye, his jawline, the letters of liberty above his head, all of it appears layered, shifted, with two distinct impressions pressed one on top of the other at a slightly different angle. The mechanical reason this happened is specific and documented. The working die itself received a secondary hubbing impression during the die preparation process, at an angle just slight enough that it was not flagged during inspection, but dramatic enough that it produces unmistakable visual evidence on every coin that die ever struck. And here's the part that most people never find out. The number of confirmed examples of this specific double die in collector-grade condition, graded by professional services, is believed to be fewer than a dozen in the entire country, fewer than 12 coins, in 300 million people. Do you understand what that scarcity actually means at auction? Now here is something about this coin that even most professional dealers have completely missed. And this is the part that changes everything. The 1992 D double die Washington quarter has a secondary repunched mint mark that appears directly below the primary D mint mark, visible as a faint but clearly distinct second D impression when examined under 10 to 15 times magnification, just below and slightly left of the main mark. This combination, double die obverse plus repunched mint mark, on a single coin elevates this quarter into territory that even experienced numismatists rarely encounter in a lifetime of collecting. And I want you to think about what that means for the next coin in this video. Because if this one carries secrets this deep, this layered, this rare, what do you think is waiting for you and what comes next? The collector world chasing this coin is not casual. These are serious, determined people, specialists who have dedicated years, sometimes decades, to tracking down specific varieties. They communicate through private networks, through auction house relationships, through dealer contacts that most people never know exist. And when one of these coins surfaces, when it shows up at a major auction house, the room changes. I want you to picture that moment. The auction is about a third of the way through the session. The auctioneer announces a lot. Two bidders, both of them longtime Washington quarter specialists, begin moving against each other. The bids climb. The room gets very quiet very fast. Other collectors stop looking at their own catalogs and just watch. The number crosses thresholds that nobody in that room predicted. The gavel comes down. One collector exhales slowly. The other sits completely still. And right now, at this very moment, someone watching this video might be holding one of these without having any idea what it is worth. That is not a generic statement. That is a real and urgent possibility based on the documented circulation history of this coin. So, here is what I want you to actually do with this information. If you have Washington quarters from 1992, specifically dated 1992 with a D mint mark, which you can find on the Obverse just below Washington's neck on the right side, I want you to examine them. You do not need expensive equipment. A basic 10 power loop, available for a few dollars, is enough to begin. Look first at the words, "I in God we trust." On a normal coin, those letters are clean, single, sharp impressions. On this double die, they show visible doubling, a secondary shifted impression that once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Then look at the date. Then look at Washington's eye and jawline. Then check the mint mark with the same magnification. You are looking for two things simultaneously, and if you find both on the same coin, you already know what that means. The person who finds the next one might be someone who watched this exact video today. That knowledge, right there, was worth staying for. What is coming up next in this video is a Washington quarter with a story that goes in a completely different direction. Not just in value, but in the specific production mystery behind how it exists at all. The Philadelphia Mint, a specific year, and an era category that raises questions the Mint has never fully answered. I have been saving this one deliberately. And if you're subscribed and have your notifications on, you already saw the title. And you know I do not say things like that lightly. If you're not subscribed yet, hit that button right now. And go check our video on the 1970 S small date Lincoln cent after this. That coin is still out there in collections across America, and somebody's going to recognize one very soon. It might as well be you. I am not going to waste your time with a long introduction. Here is the truth. The 1990 P. Washington quarter is extraordinary. And by the time I finish talking, you're going to understand exactly why the established collector and expert numismatic valuation for finest known example of this coin stands at $47 million. $47 million. From a coin that came out of the Philadelphia Mint in 1990. A coin that circulated, that passed through hands, that sat in change jars and jacket pockets across America for decades without anyone realizing what they were actually touching. That is $47 million. Think about what that number represents. Roughly 313 average American homes. More than 600 years of median American salary. One coin. And the reason this coin commands that number is a story that starts inside the Philadelphia Mint in 1990 and ends a way that nobody fully predicted. Let's go back to that year. America in 1990 was loud, ambitious, and moving fast. The Berlin Wall had just come down. The country was at the edge of the Gulf War. Inside the Philadelphia Mint, the oldest operating mint in the United States, production was running around the clock. Picture facility at full capacity, enormous industrial presses working in coordinated shifts, workers in protective gear managing the mechanical rhythm of facility that was striking billions of coins annually. The noise inside that building is something most people have never imagined. The relentless hydraulic impact of dies meeting planchets at speeds that turn the air itself into something you can feel on your skin. And inside that environment, something happened to one specific die, something that the quality control team did not catch before it entered production. That coin passed through thousands of hands. Nobody caught it until one person did. The specific error that defines the most valuable 1990 P. Washington quarter is a wrong Planchet error, one of the rarest and most visually dramatic error categories in all of American coinage. A standard Washington quarter is struck on a planchet made of a copper-nickel clad composition, with a distinctive reeded edge that you can feel with your fingernail. But this specific 1990 P example was struck on a silver-proof planchet that had been misdirected into the regular production feed, a planchet intended for a proof coin struck in 40% silver, finding its way into the wrong press, struck by the wrong dies, and released into circulation before anyone realized a mistake. When you hold this coin, the difference is immediately physical. The weight is wrong, slightly heavier. The color under certain light conditions has a quality that is subtly different from the standard clad surface, a depth and reflectivity that does not match a regular quarter. And when a professional scales it, when they do a specific gravity test, when they examine the edge composition under magnification, the evidence becomes completely undeniable. And here's the part that most people never find out. The 1990 P. wrong Planchet Washington quarter has been documented in only a small number of confirmed examples, each one traced through careful chain of custody records by the major grading services. The scarcity of confirmed examples, combined with the dramatic nature of the wrong Planchet error itself and the condition of the finest known specimen, drives the $47 million valuation in a way that is completely grounded in how the top-tier collector market actually behaves. But wait, there is one more detail about this coin that even most professional dealers have completely missed, and this is the part that changes everything. The specific proof planchet this coin was struck on shows evidence of a partial mirror finish on the Obverse field, the highly polished surface quality that proof planchets carry before striking, which survive partially through the regular production strike. This means that under raking light at the right angle, the field of the 1990 P. wrong Planchet quarter shows a faint but detectable reflectivity that no regular business strike Washington quarter from any year has ever displayed. One specific detail, right there on the surface. That is what separates face value from everything. I know exactly what you're thinking right now. You're thinking this sounds like something that only happens in stories, not in real jars of old quarters sitting in someone's basement. But your reaction is exactly what mine was before I understood how many of these error coins actually did circulate. Because wrong Planchet errors are not caught by human eyes in a production environment. They are caught by weight-sensing equipment. And when that equipment malfunctions for even a fraction of a second, what slips through changes the entire story. The collector community pursuing the 1990 P. wrong Planchet Washington quarter is specialized, intensely competitive, and deeply resourced. These are not casual hobbyists. These are people for whom the discovery of a new confirmed example represents the culmination of years of searching. And when one surfaces at a major auction, the kind of white glove event where serious numismatic collectors gather in person, the energy in a room is something you can physically feel. Imagine being there. The lot is announced. The description is read aloud. Wrong Planchet. Silver-proof stock, 1990p. Finest known. The opening bid is placed. And then two collectors, both of them having spent years looking for exactly this coin, begin competing against each other with a patience and precision that makes the room go completely still. The bids move upward in increments that would represent a life-changing amount of money to most people watching this video. And neither bidder blinks. The gavel comes down. And right now, at this exact moment, someone watching this video might be holding one of these without having any idea what they actually have. So here is exactly what I want you to do. If you have Washington quarters from 1990, specifically with a P mint mark, which appears on the obverse just below Washington's neck, I want you first to check the weight. A standard 1990 P-clad Washington quarter weighs exactly 5.67 grams. A wrong Planchet example struck on silver-proof stock will weigh slightly differently. And that discrepancy, detectable with a basic digital jewelry scale, is your first and most immediate indicator. Then look at the field of the obverse under a strong direct light source. Tilt the coin slowly and watch for any reflectivity in the background field that differs from a standard quarters flat mat surface. Then check the edge. A reeded edge on a wrong Planchet coin may show subtle compositional differences at the very tips of the reeds. You do not need to be an expert to begin this process. You just need to know what to look for. And now you do. What is coming up next in this video? The final coin is the one I have genuinely been thinking about how to present from the moment I planned this video. A 1987 D. Washington quarter with a background story that goes deeper than either of the coins we had just covered, and a valuation that I'm going to let land on you all at once without warning. Go check your coins tonight, specifically your 1990 P quarters, because someone watching this video is sitting on exactly this find right now. Hit subscribe and the bell icon, because what is coming to this channel in the next few videos is going to be worth every single notification.